Oh boy. Well, that was a real doozy of a movie.
That's putting it lightly.
I loved it.
You know, I really wish they included the line of he was in the Amazon with my mom when she died when she was researching spiders. What you can't blue ball us with that and fucking just not put it in the movie. Hey guys, Gibbledang here. We're talking about Madame Web.
You gotta.
Mm-hmm. And this is me, Dala. I'm in the woods studying spiders, and
yeah, this is GymleaderNate, and I'm pregnant and willing to die and let my baby also die with my shot body for the chance to save the baby who will die if I get shot.
Yeah, so we're all recording this in the woods. We've all been in the woods for 3 hours. We just watched Madame Web. We're trying to process everything. Yeah, you know what hasn't been said about this movie? I mean, by the time this comes out, it would have been 3 weeks since release. So, you know, given enough time for spoilers, given enough time for, you know, people to see the movie, because God forbid, you know, I had posted a spoiler day one. Posted a spoiler day one.
Two.
Because who gives...
Day two.
Okay, yes, sorry,
Yeah,
sir.
day two.
Day two. So I posted spoilers day two. And, you know, because who would give a shit? It's Madame Web, you know? And, you know, I post my story at night, and then I fall asleep, and I wake up. And the next day I have a message from somebody responding to the Madame Web spoiler. And they're like, not you posting spoilers day two. And I'm just like, oh, whoops. I thought no one would have cared.
Yeah,
and so
also the context.
Yeah. So this person fucking screenshotted my Gibbledang account. They're like, this guy's a loser. He posts spoilers of Madame Web day one, day two. And he posted on his story. And I'm just like, holy shit, this guy's so like upset that I posted Madame Web spoilers. And then I just so happened to like see his story like a couple days after that. And there was it was some shit like, oh, who wants to start a Madame Web group chat to talk about the movie? It's like, Jesus.
It's like, okay, so 24 hours was the line between being a loser and just being interested? Jeez.
Yeah.
So
also,
to the 10 people who was interested in Madame Web, I'm sorry I spoiled your...
and who weren't aware that the canonically
That's what
blind character of Madame Web
in a wheelchair
goes blind.
Also, wanted to add, your video did actually like technically spoil shit because you didn't specify shit. It's just her in the hospital.
And she's just in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
yeah.
I just thought that was funny. Also, can I read you guys a text real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because actually this is actually related. Sorry.
Unless it's bad. Don't read me something bad. I don't want bad news.
You don't want bad news? Okay, well, so I got a text message. This is the 19th, which I don't know how many. That's what 5 days later. Saw Madame Web today. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the storyline. Heart. That's for my mom.
Your mom?
My mom liked Madame Web.
I will say. So with all grievances that we will, I'm sure, address right off the bat, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be based off of everyone's reactions. I'm not gonna lie. My entire reaction to listen.
Yeah, I could see that.
If you look at it objectively, and like other comic book movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, like, if I were to sit down and watch Madame Web, with like friends or something, doing something or anything, I would have a better time. I think I would actually enjoy it more than that. Don't go crazy. I'll be honest.
No,
than
I'm
watching
with you.
like Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
That's a different vibe. I think
they're
I would
entirely-
agree.
Yeah, they're two different.
They are different. They are
yeah.
different, and I'm just saying that I think they still ended up with a movie that, although has its problems, has an arc, a weird one,
technically,
but it has an arc, technically, and
Technically.
I mean, some movies
I'm
don't
just
have
saying-
plots.
I'm
to
just
be fair.
saying, like, even though some things were silly,
yeah.
I still had a better time watching this movie than I did when I watched Morbius, and that's just the
Oh,
truth.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I will agree with that, but that's because I saw this movie in a theater that was empty and we were like yelling, had a beer.
Yeah.
It's like the environment made the movie fun. This movie is also fun on its own. If it's not a good movie, that's the thing. That's
It's
I agree
so
with
bad
you.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's so bad it's good.
I don't think this is like
I
the
definitely
worst.
had a lot more fun watching this than I did Morbius as well.
Yeah. And I don't
it
think
was
this
just
is the
also
worst
very
movie ever.
tampered. Yeah, I think it was also my expectations were so tampered by everybody's reaction that by the time I saw it, I was like, I also realized that like there is a lot of ADR problems with that villain's
Dialogue. Yeah.
But also, there were times where I was watching and I was like, is this an ADR problem? And then I watched really closely and I'm like, no, it is matching. This actor literally just doesn't move his mouth when he talks.
No, literally.
You can
there's
see.
No,
I will show you the specific scenes.
Let's watch it again.
Promise you.
Let's
We will
watch it again.
Ooh,
All right, because I
place of
guarantee
bets.
you, it's an
You will
ADR
see
problem.
It's probably half-half. That's
I'm
my
not
guess.
saying that doesn't exist. Again, prefacing with, yes, there's lots of ADR problems on his dialogue. But there were some moments where it was so funny because in that moment, in the few moments where he was actually speaking the dialogue, it still looked bad and looked like he wasn't because the actor doesn't enunciate or move his like mouth. I noticed and I tracked his little like lip, his tongue and teeth movements, and I was like, no, he is saying those words right now. It's just you can barely see his mouth move.
Yeah.
Like, and so those were just in the few times where it wasn't ADR dialogue, because for the majority, his dialogue was ADR dialogue.
Oh
Yeah, the movie fucking sucked.
Talking about it's the best. I love it. I love its concept of time. I love that the plot is essentially Dakota just going around dropping off teenagers different places and leaving them just consistently.
Ooh, I did like the Spider-Man as the baby.
A little hook.
I liked that. I liked
Where do
that.
we let's rein it in. Let's figure out where we're
Sure.
starting with this review.
Okay, yeah, you lead the way, please.
let's-
Gibbledang, honestly.
Okay, so the first 15 minutes of the movie, Dala and I immediately left to get burritos. So can't really start off with the first 15 minutes. I could tell you about the burrito place. It was pretty good. They were really easy to sneak into the theater. Unfortunately, you have to pay extra for the fucking like limes and the red salsa. So that's like,
Would
overall.
you like me to speak on the first 15 minutes of the movie?
That's what I was gonna
'Cause did
say,
see
like-
it.
I'm sure it's stuff we already know. It's about them in like the
Yeah,
Amazon,
like,
right?
The way
the mom studying spiders.
because the dialogue of the movie is all so literal and so like expository at all times. Weirdly, the way people describe it when they like talk about it on TikTok and stuff is verbatim what happens, and
yeah.
The only thing is that the Aranya looked both silly but okay. I was like,
yeah, that guy.
But then it's funny because like that
girl.
guy's all of his dialogue when he appears later in the movie is not very bad. However, the ADR his dialogue in the moment
Damn, we missed that.
during her birth, where he is clearly saying, not just like timed differently where the lips don't match, an entirely different
Different
series of words.
Nice.
Like it is a
Strung
completely
together.
different sentence.
They were
And
going
the way his
by
mouth is moving, you can tell he's not saying, and not even the vowels are close.
they were going by the
It's-
Kung Pao like metric.
Literally, that's
My
what
name
it
is
looks like.
Betty.
He spoke in a different language, and it was dubbed over.
So, yeah,
Nice.
that's awesome. Maybe it was.
I love that.
Yeah, I will say the moment like with her, it is weird. Like she's a pregnant woman in the middle of the fucking jungle, but like, she was one of the best actresses in the film. Her mom, she was actually pretty okay, and so funny enough, like that beginning sequence wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be because she was actually like decent, even though the lines were not good. She made them like
Yeah.
okay, and those scenes were some of the few that weren't ADR'd for the villain. Was at
Yeah,
the
nice.
very beginning.
Yeah, no, that's
Because
like,
I know it opens with, you know, the mom's researching, and she's got Ezekiel Sims with her, and they're researching spiders in the Amazon, infamously.
Whose name we don't learn until like an hour into the movie.
oh, they don't say his
Me and
name.
We and Viv were tracking the whole time. We were like, we still
I
don't know
didn't
his
notice.
name. We still don't know his name. No one said his name.
It does not
And then they
allow.
finally say like Ezekiel Sims is after us, and I'm like,
Oh my god!
how did we get that information?
I guess if you're a fan,
Sorry,
you
interrupt.
know. No, it's funny. I
No,
did not
no.
know that. Shit.
Yeah,
I mean-
because we were both like confused the whole time. We're like, literally, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. What do they call him? Like a ceiling walking guy or something?
Ceiling guy. They call
Yeah.
him Ceiling Guy for
That's
the
his name.
entire beginning of the movie. And
Yeah.
at one point, Cassie puts down a picture, and all of the Spider Girls go, "That's Ceiling Guy," but none of them have seen him without his mask on.
Oh shit! Nice.
Oh, no
Nice.
shit.
I didn't catch that. Yeah.
So they just immediately see
Oh,
this
it's
random
him.
dude and go, "That's the guy who's on the ceiling." Got him.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so I know basically she gets killed by Ezekiel Sims, you know, Madame Webb's mom.
Yeah, they find that she finds the spider they've been looking for, and he was supposed to be her security expert. And then in the moment she comes back with the spider, she's sharing it with everyone, and he immediately pulls out a gun and shoots a dude in the head, shoots another guy in the gut, and like just kills everyone around. And then he's like, "Now give me the spider." And that's when she's like, "No, I can't give you the spider." And he's like, "I will literally shoot you if you don't give me this spider." And she's like, "No." And then he shoots her and
she's
takes the
like,
spider
"Alright
and
then."
leaves. And like as he takes the spider, the trees start rustling. And since he already told us about the Ranya and how they punish bad men. He bolts off into the jungle with the spider, but the
Gotcha.
Aranya find Madame Webb's mother and bring her to that pool,
Like the
of the special little cave,
yeah.
and that's where she is birthed.
See, now the movie makes sense. That was the one thing I was missing. Is the first 15. It's perfect now.
It's perfect.
Okay, movie 10 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I you know, we got back once. I think it was the moment that Madame Webb kind of survives a, you know, like her first initial, or I guess like a drowning or some shit, and that's when she unlocks her Madame Webb abilities.
Yes.
And basically, yeah, we walked in, we picked back up right when, you know, she just got rescued by Adam Scott, who's fucking playing Uncle Ben for some reason.
Such a good uncle.
Interesting.
Ben.
It's funny because damn, that's so funny because you also missed the reason why I liked that he was Uncle Ben is like also just like this little like bits they put in is like early on, and they're sitting around talking, and they're like, you know, they saved a woman who was having cardiac arrest, who was what's her face's stepmom, Sydney Sweeney's stepmom.
Oh,
And-
okay.
And they're sitting around afterwards, and he's like, I have to tell you something, like I met someone, and she's like, oh cool, who's it this time? And he's like, it's serious, and like it's like implying that he has met Aunt May now, and like he has met the beginning of his relationship with May as well.
Nice.
I thought I care. I like little Easter eggs.
Oh, it sounds like the best
I
part of the
feel like
movie is
it's
the first
cute.
15 minutes. The part we
Like,
missed.
I-
No, it's fine. Yeah.
I mean, they it's a lot of like just continuing the same stuff, honestly. But
I think the thing is, like, it sounds like the movie started off like promising, especially since you heard it was so bad, and then they just flub it essentially.
Like the premise was that seemed like very simple. Does that mean you guys missed when? So you guys missed when the one Spider Girl flipped off Madame Web because she was skateboarding through the street as the ambulance was trying to get through the street.
So
and Madame Web almost hit her with the ambulance, and so
there's like
off.
seeds of
And
like
then,
them meeting like throughout life,
so
basically.
she's
I
connected to
that.
Sydney Sweeney because she saved Sydney Sweeney's stepmom.
It's cool in a different
she's-
movie. I feel it's lame
She's
here.
connected to the skateboarder because she almost hit her with her car.
Yeah,
And then she's connected to the
math nerd.
the
I eat
math girl,
algebra
the
for
science
lunch.
girl. Because she lives in her building, and they show
Yeah, I
that
remember
in the
that.
beginning
Yeah,
of the
but they do
movie
say
as
that
well,
at some point later too.
So, but that's crazy because it means you guys missed both of the times of her connecting with two of the other three Spider Girls before they get introduced.
And what did it amount to? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
No on-screen chemistry at all. No
Just-
off-screen chemistry. No off-screen
Just
because
terrible.
apparently there was even a group chat that like the three Spider Women were in that like they just kept excluding Dakota Johnson. They're like, you're old, and Dakota was just like,
Wow.
okay. There's
Damn,
like behind the
Fair.
scenes shit about
I'm
this.
sorry, no fair.
Oh my god,
If
Nate,
you're
you
old,
love this
you're
movie.
Not in my text. You're not. No.
Yeah.
If you're old, you're
I
not.
knew it.
If you're not
She's
on the
our
same,
age.
like age generation.
She's our age.
She's our age.
And
Fair.
are you about to go into a group chat with a bunch of 21 and 22 year olds and be like, "Hey guys, why can't I be in here all hip?" No, you're not. 'Cause it's inappropriate.
Maybe to you. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't either, but I think
not
it's
silly. Like,
I think no,
it's
I'm
like-
no.
like-
I'm being goofy at this point.
I think if I could give my thoughts, if that's a
Yeah.
regular workplace, yeah, no shit. But if it's an environment where you have to build chemistry and actually be filmed and that's something that's going to have to be shown on screen, then yeah, put
that just
some
means they're bad at
effort.
acting. No, that just, you don't have to be friends with
Well,
your co-stars to be
I
good
don't
at
think
acting. That just
I don't
means
think they
they're
need to
bad at
be.
acting.
They can just do like practice too. They don't have to be in a group text with her. Like that's.
Yeah,
I think that
they
wouldn't
can
hurt,
talk, like,
but
yeah.
it doesn't need to be.
Either way,
like,
I
that's
think
true.
my
Like,
point is
yeah.
that there's a big level of disconnect in this movie.
Yeah.
No chemistry is 100% correct.
Oh
They
no,
have
yeah.
zero chemistry.
Speaking of zero chemistry, where were we?
We're about to.
We were at when she gets her powers.
She gets her
Yeah.
powers and she starts having the whole like, oh my god, is that are you okay to drive? It's like, what do you mean? I haven't driven yet. Here, I'm gonna get in this car, and it's like she keeps, predicting the next 5 minutes and 10 minutes that's gonna happen, whether or not it's like what people are gonna say or the car that's
Her
gonna
O2
hit her.
count.
Yeah,
Which is
her
great
O2
because
counter, fuck.
I was like, which is great because we see this movie twice. Like you see scenes twice in this movie.
I mean, I appreciated the moments where it's like right when it keeps happening enough where you constantly have to be like, are we in a vision right now? Is this about to backtrack? Is like it's basically at the exact same moment that she starts meeting all the Spider Girls on the train, and she literally turns to somebody around her and she's like, is this real? And it's like, I kind of liked that moment because it was literally the exact same moment that I was having over the last like 5 minutes of the movie, where I was constantly like, is this real?
Stockholm
is this
syndrome.
happening? And I was like, hey, at least
Stockholm
they successfully put me, the audience, in her shoes because we both
Fair.
were not
True.
sure what was going on
Yeah.
and whether or not it was reality.
That's so good. Yeah.
I will say I was okay with the underwater scene when she got her powers, like awakened, with like the little scene that they played when she was born in the water pool at the beginning. It synergized pretty well, and it kind of made sense to me.
Yeah.
And
That
I
seems
don't know.
like symbolic.
I think my point of this view really was skewed by just not expecting anything. I was expecting the worst, and so any little thing that I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. Like, I like that. I like what they like. I like that in her underwater scene, she had the very first thing you see is the blue balloon popping or forming and then popping, and that forms the rest of the scene. And then like in 2 scenes later, she's at the baby shower, and they have the blue balloons, and the balloons popping start triggering her memories again, and her visions.
Oh, nice. I didn't. Yeah, no, that's something that. I mean, I'm definitely down to see this movie again at some point.
Yeah,
like,
in that
especially
power scene,
sounds
it
great.
has blips of like everything throughout the rest of the movie, basically.
Nice.
So yeah, she gets her powers. She's predicting stuff. She's going crazy. She gets forced to take a week off. After
they have accident.
After her captain dies.
Yeah.
Because it was she swore she was fine to go back after her accident, and then her captain dies with her visions happening, and so they make her take a week off, and she goes to the doctor, and she decides to tell the doctor something I thought was, I don't know.
No, you're good.
If I was in with my physician, I feel like I personally would be a little bit afraid to tell my doctor, like,
Anyone.
I see the future. I promise it's real. Like,
So, Doc, I've been seeing the future a little bit lately. Like, just, I don't know, just like 5 minutes
just
at
a little
time.
bit. Do you have a pill for that? Like, she's like, the way she asks it is like, the doctor's gonna have like an immediate, like, oh yeah, that's a syndrome that does the like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Madame Webbitis. Yeah, so Madame Web had a vision of her fucking captain dying. And then it like in an ambulance accident, and she's like, "Captain, don't go die in that ambulance accident." He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and then he does.
Immediately.
And then she's doing chest compressions on his. She's doing chest compressions, so she lifts up her hands, and they're bloody for some reason. And I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, why the fuck are her hands bloody? But either way, yeah, like you said, she takes a week off, and in that time, we just see Ezekiel Sims randomly go into like this opera house, and like he goes and he finds this like NSA agent, I guess, and he sleeps with her, seduces her. That entire scene felt like a ripoff of the Loki scene when he's walking through the like museum in the first Avengers movie, and then he steals that dude's eye. It felt very like derivative. I don't even know if that was on purpose.
Me and Viv both at that moment when he came in and like sat next to her and like handed her the brochure, and then when she went to take it, he yanks it away for her playfully.
Yeah, like, what?
We both were like, this dude, they would not have gone home together. Like,
No,
if you don't know the
That's
dude who
annoying
just
as
did that
shit.
to you. Like, Viv was immediately like, I would like immediately just like jerk up for a punch. Like
Well, it's
get it to me.
2003.
What the fuck is wrong
Your
with you?
options are limited. Post 9/11.
Yeah.
I will also say there were so
True.
many times in the movie where me and Viv were like, "What?" and then we turned to each other and literally went, 2003.
Yeah.
So it's 2003. He manages to nag this woman into sleeping with him, I guess.
Just sleeping with him.
And and then it turns out she's an NSA agent, and they wake up after hooking up, and that's when he recalls his origin story where he's like, I have a dream that there's 3 spider women and they're gonna kill me in the future, and it's all gonna be gravy if you fucking just give me your NSA technology. And then there's
Also,
this
she
really
is so shockingly cool with it. Before he reveals he knows she's an NSA agent, he's just like, these 3 girls are gonna kill me, and she's like,
she's
wow,
like, how do you know that?
interesting.
Whoa,
How do you
that's
know
crazy.
that?
But you see, she's an NSA agent. She's trying to get in his head, trying to get the, see, you gotta think about
Yeah.
it from like the psychological point of. Either way, there's this really weird fucking edit where she goes to reach for her gun or whatever, and he goes to stop her hand from grabbing the gun, but he takes the long way around the bed, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like-
he like goes
takes-
all the way around instead
Yeah.
of hopping over.
Exactly, and like grabs it with the hand furthest from. It's just such a weird like.
There's a ton of times in the movie where he does stuff that he could have done like with superpowers faster, where like it just shows him like as a dude like climbing over a railing or something.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
true.
funny.
I thought you were gonna say there's a lot of times where they show
Yeah.
or they break the 180 rule in this movie, which they do a lot. Like
It is, this whole movie
jarring.
is so disorienting because they
Yeah.
break the 180 rule constantly, and somebody decided that half of this movie was going to spin.
should be
Should be spinning or upside down.
Disorienting.
And I was like,
Yeah.
someone was like, oh, you know that one scene that they kind of sprinkle into Spider-Man movies where they do like the upside down scene
For like a
it's
second.
Like, yeah, we should do that for the whole goddamn movie.
Yeah.
And so like every time they come in on a new shot, it's from sky, like from the top, from an odd angle that they have to twist and go down and then cut three
Trying to
times
Sam
to
Raimi
get to
it.
their actual subject. Literally, it was very like they were just spinning the camera constantly with these Dutch angles, and it was just like I felt like I literally
puke
I went to the
bags.
bathroom at one point, and while I was in the bathroom, I was like, I'm actually a little dizzy. Like I got up and had to walk, and I was like, I'm actually a little bit dizzy.
And so there's what they sleep together. He kills the NSA lady. He gets some crony. He gets this woman to help him out. That's like his woman in the chair, his guy in the chair, and they manage to use NSA technology and also his perfect recollection of what these girls look like from his memory.
How did I? That was crazy that she was like, oh yeah, we have your memories from your dreams, so let me push this one button,
Yeah.
and 3 photo perfect faces of these women come up, and I'm like, how did this happen? Did he
Hey,
draw them? Did he program this?
Come on, it's the NSA. They got some technology, at least like 15 years ahead of us,
Did they
right?
download
You don't think so?
Yeah, from
his brain
2003?
somehow to the computer?
Yeah, so it'd be like
in order to see
2018.
Perfect images of these women, like.
Well, it didn't go into his brain. He used his
He has perfect spider description abilities.
recollection.
He has like
it's
8
perfect.
eyes.
He uses spider
essentially, his
memory to
mind.
recall what.
Yeah.
That's actually what he was doing for the last 15 years, was literally just making perfect 3D
Oh,
models of these
that's why it took a while.
faces meticulously, just like
You see, I have the memory of a spider.
Gib, you
The,
gotta say that.
memory of a
memory of
spider.
spider.
You gotta
Memory of a spider.
ADR that in though. You gotta ADR.
Yeah,
that.
I was trying to talk like I'm doing ADR, if that makes sense. But I don't know if that
yeah,
does.
yeah. No, I know.
So he sleeps with that lady. He gets her password. He gets the
He gets her
the tech
powers.
hand. The
He
lady
gets
in
pictures
the
of
chair
them.
and
Gets
because of that, he starts showing up where these girls are, starting with the train.
The train sequence, yeah, which I thought was kind of okay. I thought the
Oh, yeah.
actual sequence of him climbing on the, like jumping back and forth between the trains and like climbing on the ceiling. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was a little intimidating.
There was a moment in that where I turned to Viv and I was literally like, you know what? They could have made this movie scary.
Just Spider-Man Terminator, which would have been
Yeah, they could have made this movie scary.
funny
if they
enough-
really had made him like an actual like something that really felt like an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
And maybe had didn't do the whole nobody saw him thing, and instead
Yeah.
actually had the environment react to the fact that he's there.
I was gonna
That
say
would have been. It would have like felt so imposing, and they could have played with darkness with his black suit, and like him coming out of shadows and like leaping at them and having super speed and climbing on ceilings. Like they could have made it actually terrifying,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
instead we get this super bright lit subway scene where he is crawling around on a ceiling, and magically nobody else on the entire platform sees him doing this.
Yeah.
Also,
I was
the
gonna
only
say
people
it
he
kinda,
kills in the scene are women.
This
the whole
movie
movie,
hates
yeah.
women.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll bring that up several times, but this movie hates women.
What were you saying,
Legitimately.
Dala?
Whoever wrote it despises women.
I was just gonna say, it's very much like Final Destination meets like a craps like Morbius, I guess, to me. Which is like with that horror angle, I again, the unstoppable force with the Madame Web power and like the rewinding of shit, you can definitely do like, I think if they leaned towards that direction, you could have done a cool like knockoff of Final Destination with like spider
Yeah,
people.
It's like Morbius ate Final Destination and Terminator
Basically.
and then threw up.
Ezekiel Sims.
And then threw up.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just threw up, yeah. Nice.
So he finds them. So he finds them at the train station, and throughout this sequence, they manage to get away. But
That's
in
like-
the process
it's-
of her getting them away, Sydney Sweeney's character yells out that she's a kidnapper to the police, and so now she's labeled as a kidnapper.
And that's
Yeah.
because everyone's on the train, and Cassandra Webb walks into the train and she sees the three girls that she's been seeing throughout her this fucking movie, and then she keeps having like visions in the future of like, oh my god, Ezekiel Sims is gonna come and kill all of them. So she starts running to all the different spider women. It's like, you gotta get off. That man's gonna kill you. And then he walks on the train, and fucking. That's when the scene happens where the cops come. Ezekiel starts taking him out, and then Sydney Sweeney's like, "Oh, this person's trying to kidnap us or whatever." Yeah, and then they all escape. After that they steal a cab. They steal a cab in New York.
Oh my
Also,
god!
my favorite
I'm sorry.
part is that they get in the cab, they start driving right after this, and then on the radio, there's an announcement that this woman kidnapped 3 teenagers immediately, like minutes,
30
like
minutes.
or
So
seconds.
I give this only for the radio one. When we get to the
come on.
newspaper thing, that
yeah,
is a different.
that one
conversation.
also is
Okay.
yeah,
But
that one's bad too. but yeah.
for the radio one, I will give it a little bit of leeway because before smartphones,
Yeah.
before internet was integrated into everything,
Mm-hmm.
bulletins like that on the news happened a lot. They did.
I could see it happening, I guess, but
Even
it's
living in the
just-
suburbs near Chicago, because I
Yeah.
was in the same county as Chicago, I
as
was in
Madame Web.
Cook County.
Uh-huh.
That was a Madame Web County.
There on the radio, like Cook County alert bulletins, were not uncommon. You know what I mean?
Oh god.
Because Amber Alerts didn't go to your smartphone automatically. You know what I mean? They announced Amber Alerts on the radio. That's what they did.
But
So,
I think the speed
like,
of
how
it is what threw me
immediate
off.
was
But I
that?
guess
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering. How quick
Because
of a
the
thing?
amount
Like,
of
it
how
can
much it
be
happens, and then
because the cop. The other thing is the cop gets attacked in the subway, and I remember he gets like flung and like knocked out. So who's reporting this to the police, and then the police reporting it
wrong.
to the radio? So it's like.
Yeah,
Realistically,
you're not wrong.
that's
There's
why
always
I'm like,
still a time
it's-
issue.
it's
like the
still a
plausibility is
yeah.
there, but the time
It's-
still never adds up.
Yeah, no, exactly.
also
And
Madame Web goes to Peru for a week. So, we'll get into that later.
For like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
For 50.
but
she could say yeah. She,
so this is my favorite part too. Is like so she takes the taxi and she hears that she drops off these 3 girls in the middle of like Central Park and is like, just wait here 3 hours, I'll be back. And these 3 like they're just like okay, and just bored waiting in like Central Park. And that's like I just love
So
this
they decide
movie.
to use their perfect compass,
Yeah,
accurate navigational natural senses to sense exactly where a diner is
oh
directly out of the woods.
yeah.
are
And
we
they
already at
just
this
march
point?
straight forward.
Are we really at
towards
this
the
point in the
woods.
movie? God,
really
you see,
are.
that's the thing. It really is brisk. It really does chug along. It's like, a lot of weird bullshit does happen, but holy shit, is it like engaging
entertaining.
and
Yeah.
it's got a good pace to it, even if it doesn't seem realistic.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Is that
That's-
the movie actually? It's just like while you're watching it, you're still like, yeah, this is a movie. I'm following along. I'm on you. I'm on the journey with you. It's bad, but I'm in it with you. Like because
Yeah.
there are some movies where like they can't even do that. There
Yeah.
are
It's
some
not
movies
boring.
that
That's, like,
can't
worse
even
than-
get you like to like engage in what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cassandra drops them off in the woods. Also, okay, I just want to say, okay, so there is Julia Cornwall, who in the comic books is Julia Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Julia Cornwall is played by Sydney Sweeney. Notoriously beautiful, hot, like fucking modern, like sex icon now. Like, she's
Apparently, Twitter is blowing up about Sydney Sweeney.
she's either way. Basically, she's playing like a nerdy, shy, kind of like nebbish
Catholic
like
schoolgirl.
we
She's
can't
the good girl.
we shouldn't be doing this, and it's like
Yeah.
no, like not to be like that's not her character, but it's just she does not play it well. I think
Also,
the act
it just reads really weird when an actress who like formerly is known for much more promiscuous stuff is put into the role of like Catholic schoolgirl. Like if you naturally just connect, because there's already that
She's a high
weird thing that they do where they cast 20-year-olds as high schoolers. And so it's like when you start combining what they've already done in their past roles, it's just like why are you playing this right now? I don't understand.
and so that's Sydney Sweeney as as Julia Cornwall. Then there's Isabella Merced. She played Dora the Explorer. She's playing.
We looked that up in the theater. We were so curious. We're like, where's she been in?
Oh,
And
she
it's like,
actually.
Dora?
She's actually
Yeah,
Dora. I
she
thought you were
was
fucking
okay.
around.
No,
No,
you would know.
she's the live action Dora the Explorer.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, she plays Anya Corazon or Corazon.
Anya Corazon.
Anya Corazon. Yeah, she's like the nerdy, street smart, like I don't know. She's like she seemed like she was like nerdy Mexican girl Peter Parker, like street smart or not street smart, like book smart. Her father was deported. She has to take care of herself. Her performance I thought was like the least annoying.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Just
So she had less role, I feel, out of all of them, unfortunately.
yeah. But even then,
they made her do less obnoxious stuff.
That's why
But
I
when
like
she
maybe
did,
that's why she's
she still was obnoxious because she'd do the whole like, oh, according to my calculations, it would take about 12.5 seconds to do the whole like she did one of those fucking
Oh, yeah.
at one point.
Several times.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice. She was just too hot for me.
The worst of the bunch was I think her name's Celeste O'Connor as Maddie Franklin. Oh boy, the cringiest performance I've seen in a while. I am so
Acting was
sorry,
not
dude.
there. Yeah, it was just
so,
not
like,
there.
It was too
Everything was
theatrical.
it was so like
Just
high school.
high school play.
Yeah.
like,
I feel bad
acting.
saying this. I don't like there's some performances that that
It's
I'd
probably
like to
not her
rip on,
fault.
but like it is. But it's
It is her fault.
like,
She's a professional actress.
yeah,
of course
it's her.
fault.
She's
But it's
And
like a
the
terrible
directors and the
movie, and
casting
they all thought it was an
agents and-
MCU. Like there's movies where I'm sure
If
like
you had
every
seen
good
her
actor's had
acting
bad
in
acting.
An MCU movie, would that have made it better?
I feel like she would have done
Yeah.
better. I'm saying that she was like, I'm in a crap movie. I'm not gonna try as hard because like a lot of them didn't know this wasn't an MCU movie. Like Dakota Johnson is like,
Dakota
it's-
Johnson definitely. I almost said Dakota Fanning, but
Yeah,
Dakota
same.
Johnson definitely when she
Just
did her
phoning
press
it in.
junkets for this was
She
very
got this
aware
right.
this is a bad movie.
yeah, I
yeah.
think they
She
were all
also
just
I
like.
think at first she thought it was an MCU movie too.
Plus, I don't know. You're as good as your director can make you, because there's so like Nick Cage is good in some movies, terrible in other movies. And part of it sometimes I feel like is the director. Not always, but
Hold on, you can't bring up Nick Cage when talking
That's-
about
yeah,
acting.
that's an
That is the
entirely
most.
different
He is the
beast.
most anomalous like actor like.
Yeah.
It exists. I would say the most anomalous actor in
And then-
existence.
that's
could-
your
you
like
could have
your
good
opinion, man.
performances.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
good performances in a bad film, and it could be
Okay, well
just
then
whether
we
or
could
not
just say
This
the actor
was a
sucks.
bad performance.
She just sucks
It's a
as an
bad-
We're not
actress, and she
saying
should
sucks.
like.
We're just saying
quit.
this performance.
I'm kidding.
basically
Yeah, go on.
it's a
go on.
bad performance in a bad
Yeah.
movie with a
Yeah.
bad director. So
Yeah.
that's all of it. And so Madame Webb goes back to her apartment and she starts, talking to her cat and reading her mom's diaries and journals or whatever. And then she's like, "Oh, maybe I could climb a wall." And then she doesn't climb a wall. Basically,
Oh, I'm sorry.
about
That
that.
moment made me so irritated.
what a
because
stupid
I was
pause.
like,
Let's pause and
ex-
show this scene.
and what a dumb thought. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like, first of all, like the fact that she was like, "Oh, I'm having visions, so I should read my mom's research." And then in the research about that her mom had, she was just like, "Oh, there's these spider people with powers." And she's like, "Well, I guess you can't try. Like, maybe I can climb a wall. Like, I just don't see that."
Where's like the
thought.
logic come
People
from?
with powers.
Yeah.
So she
I'm a
reads her.
I'm a
oh, sorry.
power person. Immediately tries to climb a wall.
She reads her mom's journal right after she drops off the girls, and she's like, oh, can I climb a wall? No, I can't climb a wall. But she finds out that in Peru there's this magical spider, and she's like, oh shit, this is what my mom was studying, and this is what Ezekiel Sims was originally after. And
Can I point out one thing too?
yeah.
The whole reason she goes home to read about her mom's research is just literally one line where one of the girls goes, "Yeah, he was climbing on the ceiling like a spider."
Oh my god.
Yeah,
and
that's
that
right,
was
yeah.
it. She just says the word spider, and Madame Webb goes, "This
my
must be
God.
the exact thing that my mother was studying when she was in Peru when she gave birth to me. This must be
When
the
she
exact
died in the
thing. I'm
Amazon
gonna go
when he
home
was
and-
studying with my spiders.
It must all be connected because the word spider." And she goes home and starts going through the research, and I'm like, the whole time she was like doing that, I was like, "That's it, just the word spider. That's all it took."
And so she comes up with the idea. Well, she realizes, holy shit, maybe I should go study the actual spiders and try to find the spiders that my mom was looking for in fucking Peru. But before that,
She finds them in a few days, casually.
Yeah.
so she makes this decision, and she's like, oh, let me go back to the forest where I dropped these girls off so that I could pick them up and then go drop them off at Uncle Ben's house. But she goes to the forest
In the taxi.
and in the taxi that she stole, and she took the plates off. So she's driving around New York with in a taxi cab without plates. While I'm sure there's been a taxi that's been stolen, that's been reported stolen, and also there's a woman that is stolen, or there's a woman that like kidnapped a bunch of girls that possibly matches the description.
Yeah. And also, can I point out one of the funniest fucking things for me? She drives that taxi back into the city after dropping the girls off, parks it, takes a crowbar, pries off the license plates, and leaves both the license plates and the crowbar sitting on the ground outside the parked taxi. Like, a cop's gonna be
Sucker.
like, "Damn, this taxi doesn't have plates. We can't run the plates on it."
Must be in the
Maybe
middle of
it's the
changing
plate
its
right
plates.
there next to a crowbar. Nah, couldn't be that one.
Yeah, clearly, no one's that stupid. Plus, let's not check the front plates if there are front plates. I don't know. There might not be, but just
she has no bag or anything where she could be carrying them. They didn't show her putting them aside or
Just
hiding
throw 'em
them
away.
or
Car,
where
in
she
the
got
trunk.
a
put them in the
crowbar.
trash. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but still,
the
yeah, it's
taxi.
just fucking stupid.
So she drives back to the forest, and what do you know? The girls are gone, and that's because they're girls. They're hungry. They're gonna get hungry. They're gonna have to get food, and so
They're not gonna listen. We're this girl.
Yeah. So they use their perfect. What did you say? Their perfect diner finding
perfect-
skills.
Their perfect compass accurate
GPS, yeah.
navigational skills. Yeah, they're natural teenage girl GPS systems.
And what do you know? They
And
find
they-
a diner.
Yeah.
What? How long
A diner that is a 5-minute walk from that place in the woods, but a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. How? I like to
Or-
think they were just in the middle of in the middle of a intersection or like a highway. You know what I mean? How there's like the north, and then there's like a big patch of forest, and then on the other side,
So
In
like
the middle.
highway.
by
Yeah.
car, you have to like take an exit,
That's the
go
thing,
down the
yeah.
highway, take another
just-
loop,
yeah,
come
yeah.
back up.
She had to go all the way around. All right, she just got lost for 10 minutes. Like, yeah.
So they go in the diner, and what do you know? Yeah, sure, there's food, but what else is there? There's boys.
Cute boys.
Cute
'Cause they're
boys.
teenage girl. Yeah, yeah, they're on the run from a murderer, but there's boys.
These boys. Oh, and I know I mentioned trying not to jump around and get ahead of ourselves before trying to stick to the story.
It's
But
okay.
Jesus
We'll
Christ,
we'll rewind it like Madame Web.
we'll do a Madame Web. You know
Yeah.
what? When we watch it again, we'll do another review.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah,
Part 2.
of the same thing we just happened, but we'll fix it.
Yeah,
A better
we'll just say
review.
the same things. Yeah, we'll just
Better
say different
review.
things. Throughout this whole time, like all the girls are saying to each other shit that's like, and I think at one point they said it to Madame Web, like, or Madame Web says something to them like, "I can't believe you guys would do this. I expected better of you,"
yeah.
or like or they're saying things back and
It's just like,
forth
I'm
as if they've been
disappointed,
friends
yeah.
for a long time. Like, oh,
And-
I'm disappointed.
yeah.
It's like, bitch, you've known each other for like
A day.
2 hours. No, in
Well,
fact,
yeah.
In fact, the moment that Madame Web goes back to like save them at the diner and meet them at the diner, collectively they would have like the 3 girls would have known Madame Web for maybe an
4 or 5 hours.
hour and a half.
No, she
No,
said she's gonna
an
be gone
hour
for
and a
3
half.
hours. Did she not leave for 3 hours?
Exactly. Well, no, exactly. She leaves for 3 hours. She's not with
Oh, so
them
she
for
knows them.
3
Yeah.
hours.
Gotcha.
So she collectively knows
Knows
for like
an
an
hour,
and a
maybe.
half.
Yeah.
Probably
And by
less.
the time they get back, all they do is like I expect so much better from you guys. I can't believe you guys. It's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is this?
Honestly, that's a big part of the chemistry thing that stems from one central fact, which is whoever wrote the dialogue for Cassie for Madame Web decided to just make her absolutely unlikable. Like
Yeah.
every single nice thing that anybody does for her ever, she literally is like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get away from me!" Like she
saves a kid who makes her a drawing, and it's like, I
and
made
she
a
goes, "What
drawing
am I
for
supposed
you.
to do with this?"
The fuck is
And
this,
then-
idiot?
Yeah, like,
Too.
it's so weird. Like they're like, oh, her whole thing is she has no human empathy. Like I don't, as an ambulance driver, like what's going? Like,
Why did you want to be an ambulance
Why
driver?
did you
For the
take
money,
this
baby.
job?
There on-
You don't give a fuck about anybody.
Get there on accident? Why
She
are you
gets
sad
to the
about your
baby shower?
about your captain dying?
Yeah.
the baby
Yeah.
shower.
True.
and her Ben comes up and he's like, "Good to see you." Hands her a Pepsi, and she goes, "You don't think after everything I've been through, I shouldn't have a beer?" Like, oh my god, what a way to react to somebody giving you a drink at a
Yeah.
party. like Jesus, like how is anybody friends with her? What the fuck?
Well, no one is. I don't think she has any really.
Well, no, Ben is, but it
I don't
makes
know
no
if that's a
sense 'cause
fret.
She's constantly like, "Yeah, you're a dumb, stupid fuck." Like,
Yeah.
and
Spits
I'm-
on him.
And I'm super wise because I'm depressed. And he's like, "Yeah, you're right. Thanks, best friend."
Yeah.
So the girls are dancing on a table in front of all these boys. They're trying to be I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like literally Maddie Franklin, the most annoying character in the world, she's just like, "Come on, let's all go dance in front of those boys. It's not like we're fucking being chased by some dude that wants to kill us right now." And so they all start dancing on this table, and what do you know, fucking how does it work?
Ceiling guy comes
think-
in. Right?
No, I think Madame Web comes in
Oh.
first, and that's when she starts yelling at them and doing the whole, "How could you guys? I told you guys to stay there. I
Yeah.
expected better from you." And then that's when ceiling
Ezekiel.
guy comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I also say that I don't know. I found the way they decided to characterize all 3 of the Spider Women to be like, I don't know. It all felt icky, like the way, because like they were like, "Oh, okay, so we have like a Latina Spider Woman, we have a Black American Spider Woman, and a white Spider Woman."
Yeah.
And the white girl's gonna be shy, timid, well behaved, just wants to do right, and is like shunned by her family, but otherwise she's just like a perfect do-gooder.
And the leader of the 3.
The Latina,
Yeah.
illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Illegal immigrant father,
Illegal immigrant.
but she's still
Like-
like always like smart for her, like for their
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, we
And
got to give
then-
her a bone at least, right?
And then the Black Spider Woman, arrogant, privileged,
Well, she's
like
still, like,
obsessed
black
with
coded.
boys, Like they do. Literally, we were joking the other episode about black skateboarding characters.
Oh yeah, she
And-
does skate.
Bada
Oh
bingus,
my
bada
God.
boombus.
I didn't think about that and put that together.
God.
She's
I
perfect
noticed
for the
that
team, Dwayne.
Immediately.
Dwayne, let's get that. Nice.
God, who?
There was just a lot more. There's just a lot more ways that they could have made them unique, and the
Yeah.
ways that made them generic felt very
yeah. They felt like
weirdly
one.
coded and like flat.
Yeah.
And
They almost felt
it's
like
funny 'cause
almost like one character, like if you combine, but not even like a full character.
just the girls.
It's just and they're never alone. They're never separate. You don't know their each desires really too much. Just they're one thing.
I feel it's funny because like, like in the past, I feel like there'd always be this discourse of like, oh, it's a woman-led superhero movie, whatever. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's just that studios are like constantly meddling, or just since they don't have faith, they're just not putting as much like production into it. But like, not to say, I mean, what I'm getting at is that like, for like this movie and the Marvels, I don't think anyone's complaining that like, oh, we don't need any more like female-led superhero movies, or like, oh, movies are getting too woke. It's just like, these movies fucking suck. Like, why do these movies suck? Like
they don't make these movies with a focus on like character development and a focus on actual like really like they these are like almost like PR movies they're making. You can tell the people funding them and making them don't really care about them, and so it feels almost worse because it feels like they're just like, well, we have to shuck them a girl movie, so here's your girl movie.
What do we own?
Instead, all of these characters could have been represented better by a better story and better dialogue and better directing. Yeah. But instead, they were just like, no, we're just going to hit all these buoys of the girl movie and like movies. what they consider to be like the girl movie. You know what I mean? Because like you can feel the producers and like that weird like you can feel their manipulations throughout the choices in the movie. You can tell that this was you can tell that this was just like edited top down from a bunch of people who do not understand anything about it.
Well, it's okay. So I want a quick interjection. In the Sony email leaks of like 2014, I believe, that were a result of like the Seth Rogen, James Franco movie, The Interview, North Korea hacked Sony, released a bunch of emails. Of the emails showed when they were making The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there was some producer that was like, we think Spider-Man, like, Snapchat has this new like VIP kind of like maybe Spider-Man has his own Snapchat and it's very exclusive and he's got fans and I see that like free running is a big deal on like on Instagram and things like that, and the hashtag no big deal is really big. So what if Spider-Man uses the hashtag no big deal on all of his posts, because being Spider-Man is like dude, there's such a big level of disconnect.
So she goes to Peru, and when she gets back there, she meets up with the leader of Las Arañas.
Only one. We only see one of them.
Just one.
Reason. We
see
one. We don't see where they
shadow.
live.
We see like scenes of them like jumping around, and in the birthing scene you see more of them like around the cave. But that's all. And
I did like the way they looked. They had like this red paint and these weird like black vines around them, but the vines looked exactly like a Tobey Maguire kind of like Spider-Man. Like,
and it's like it was red clay that they had
nice.
Fuck with that.
Painted their body was with. Yeah, I was just gonna say, so that he takes her back to the cave where she was born, and this whole moment, it was so funny because she steps to that edge, and I turned to Viv immediately, and I'm like, watch, he's gonna shove her. She's gonna give her a quick little push. Yeah, and then that's exactly what happens. And then he astral projects her into the water.
Biggest Doctor Strange ripoff.
I think this is the part So she has like, so okay, so this is one of the gripes I had with the movie that I feel like no one's talking about, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like
Whoa.
just personal thoughts is
Dallas
like
hot, are we
yeah,
going
hot
into
takes.
Dallas hot corner right now?
my titular
Dallas
hot corner.
Titular.
Woo!
Order up.
So
She spends the whole movie mad and hating her mom, who died at birth, so she never knew her. So she hates and is mad at her mom. I think just because she was in the force and dying before she was born. It's like, I get it. There's like that like frustration.
she's like, you went to the forest and risked your
When-
life, and
yeah.
therefore you weren't there for me, and that was like you
I
weren't
guess
caring
that's-
about me because
yeah.
of that.
Which is like, I don't know, it's weird for me. To me, it's just weird for someone to be mad at like their mom before
Their dead
there's-
mother.
Yeah, that died at birth, you know. But also I imagine it's like known that she was like shot, or you know, like it was like she's like, your mom
Right?
wasn't
She
in
would've
the
known something,
She could have got
guys.
shot in New York. Like it's not.
She somehow had all of her mother's things
Yeah.
and belongings collected for her by the Rajas, I
Yeah,
guess. But I
I
don't,
guess.
maybe.
So this always this
Yeah,
pissed
what,
me
did
off,
they
and no
just
one's
give
talking about
her-
it.
And wait, so what? Did they ship the baby to the United States with this
Yeah,
box of like the mom's stuff? And what, did the spider person take the? So what? How does this? Who cares?
Yeah, how does
So
that
what's
work?
going on with the story?
Yeah, and basically,
Yeah.
this is the part
So
though where I think she has the vision of her mom in the doctor's room, where it's like,
Yes.
you have your baby's gonna die, but there's like a cure she's looking
Unless
for.
you take her to the Amazon.
Yeah, unless you're studying spiders in the Amazon, your baby's gonna die. So hence, like, Madame Webb learns, like, oh my god, my mom is actually good.
She
And
did this all for me. She went to
Yeah.
the Amazon so that she figured out how to cure me.
and so, so she gets back on the
Now
plane.
that it's all about me, it's
Yeah.
okay.
But
a
there's this
hero's
really
instinct, you know.
there's this weird scene where like when she realizes that it's as
Mm.
she's viewing her mother's flashback, and there's a
Yeah.
moment where the mom looks at her and they embrace each other, and it's like
sees her.
And it's like, wait, so does this actually happen in the fucking past? And if it actually happens in the past, does the doctor fucking freak out because she's like, whoa, what's going on with this pregnant woman? Why is she talking
Yeah.
to the air and hugging nothing and then looking back at me as if that didn't just fucking happen? So what the fuck is it?
Madame Webb just got some peyote.
Yeah.
She was on peyote. But so I think at this point she returns back, which is funny because this is post 9/11. I think Gym Leader Nate, you were making the point where she would have to take the plane, which Ezekiel is monitoring all cameras and everything. So like he would fucking have seen, unless she drove her taxi.
He would know
it.
immediately that she would get on that plane.
Yeah.
Like he would get alerted as soon as she got near the airport at all.
Exactly.
Can you take a bus from New York to
No.
Peru?
Taxi. You can take a taxi.
Peru? Afraid
In a
not.
week?
Not in a week.
Yeah, in a week especially, and return.
Fuck this movie.
I mean, to be fair, she might have, because she was in like the Amazons for such a short time. She might have just got out, did that, and got back in and went back, like straight up.
True, she was in the
Yes.
Amazon for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh god.
Cassandra Webb gets back from her nice vacation in Peru.
Yeah. Her 6-day
no
trip.
problem. And the funny thing is, once she gets back, she's driving in the same taxi, and she drives
She's
back to.
so-
That's right. She drives.
Like,
Yeah.
like where did she?
She
Where
parked
did
it.
she leave it? How did they not find it?
That's why I think she
How has it
drove,
not been
dude.
towed?
I think she drove.
She
She,
drove
had
to
to. Yeah.
They show her on the plane though. They show her
Do
on
they?
the plane.
I thought they did it.
You know,
I mean,
Maybe
Uh,
what she did was maybe she flew to Mexico and then, or sorry, drove
to Mexico,
drove to Mexico,
flew to
and
the
then
rest,
flew
yeah,
to
true,
Peru
true.
from Mexico.
Absolutely.
but basically, what? Where else were we at?
So she gets back, and all the girls left because
They're all gone.
Mary's
Before.
all the girls.
Right before she got back.
Uh-huh.
Right before she got back.
yeah.
Mary
Mary
pissed
Richards.
herself.
Yeah.
And then you could take over.
Oh, so Mary Richards' water broke, so the girls all leave with Ben for no reason, because they're safe in the
God.
house. Like they go to a hospital, they're
like,
gonna
your
see.
water's breaking. We
Yeah,
all
we
have
all-
to go.
Let's all carry. Like they're
Outside.
all huddled around her too, which is weird. Like to get. It's
And they
so-
have hoods on, so they
Yeah.
know the severity of being
being out, and there's literally no reason. So Madame Web, by that time she comes back, she sees puddle of water on the floor, and oh god, they're at the hospital. Yeah, I mean, it could just be spilled water for all she knew. It's just immediate.
Her water broke.
Maybe she saw
And she
it in the
immediately
future.
was like,
Yeah.
"That's piss! Oh my
Yeah.
god!"
Oh god, because that's what it is. And
She immediately knew. Yeah, that's why she looked at the puddle.
I did like at a random other moment where Ben like is coming back into the room and he goes, "Ugh," and he looks down and steps over the puddle that must be there.
Yeah. So she has like a premonition of like them driving and getting basically ganked by Ezekiel. They get Final
Blown up
Destination.
with a single grenade that he carries on him with no other equipment.
Yeah, he carries grenades. What?
No, not grenades plural, because he has nowhere else where he can store them.
We had to carry
for
it.
This scene has a singular grenade
A grenade.
that he has already in his hand, ready to go, meaning like, I'm going to go get them with this one grenade.
Yeah.
And he's like looking around his equipment room. He's like, there's like a wall full of grenades.
Yeah.
He's like, what should do?
It's like a rocket launcher, rifles, snipers. Oh, here you go.
Nope.
It's like
just
a fucking...
one grenade. Like, if weapons were on the table, why were you not just blowing them up to begin
Yeah.
with?
Yeah. Like, you're not gonna...
Why did you not just show up to that train station
With a gun.
and just fill them all with lead?
Blow up the
Like,
plane, dude.
Yeah.
Or the train.
Yeah, well...
If we're just willing to just murder people with weapons and not be Spider-Man.
I mean, he's trying to
Dark
kill him
Spider-Man
either
for a
way.
second.
Yeah, he's trying to kill him either way. It's like, there's way... he could have had him. He didn't...
Also, a silly amount of time he spends in his regular suit while he's pursuing them. Like, if you're in the pursuit, wear your Spider-Man suit.
Okay.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
It pisses me off. It pisses me off so much because, like, in the comic books, Ezekiel Sims, he was a spider totem. You know, he had the abilities of Spider-Man. So
I
you
know
know,
what you're talking about.
he if he climbed the wall, you know, if he climbed on walls, he had to have like his hands and feet, you know, like exposed or whatever. And they do that in this. They do that in the movie. And they adapt his look one for one, and it's supposed to be like, look, comic fans, we did the thing. Don't you like that?
He's barefoot.
But like, he's barefoot. But then they give him a fucking costume that has boots on it. So if he's gonna have boots, and if he's gonna climb walls, then why the fuck is this idiot walking around barefoot?
He'll be like those people that cut the bottoms of their shoes off so they could touch the floor still while wearing shoes. It should have been like that.
It centers you. It really centers you,
ooh.
bro.
yeah, he's barefoot guy from Seattle.
There you go.
Ah,
So
where
good.
are we? So
He kills them. He wins.
Yeah, the end.
Yeah.
She's
So she hits him with a car for the second time.
His one weakness.
That's right. Yeah, because she saw
His
that
one
he was gonna
weakness.
throw a grenade at them.
Yeah.
One of the first things we see MCU Spider-Man ever do,
Ooh.
stop an ambulance at dead halt,
See?
easily.
It's like Spider's
is
natural...
his weakness.
Yeah, Spider's natural enemy in nature is vehicles, cars.
Unless you're Spider-Man, unless you're Toby, or unless you're Tom Holland Spider-Man, in which it's your bread and butter.
Yeah, fair. Well, he learned.
An ambulance?
Yeah, that was his very first, when it's just where Tony Stark holds up this video, and we're going after this kid in Queens.
That's right.
And it's him stopping an ambulance from hitting another car.
Dude, nice. Yeah.
And he just
obscure
catches the ambulance
memory.
dead, and it like rises into the air, and he like plops it back down on the ground.
Nice. Yeah, this movie sucks.
But Anthony Sims, Spider Totem, what? You can't do shit. No.
Ezekiel Sims. Yeah.
Or Ezekiel
Anthony
Sims,
Daniels.
Gregory Sims, Emmanuel Sims.
So Madame Web crashes into him as he's like, I think he's mid-air, and she's like slams through a fucking like slab of concrete off of like a parking garage and like slams into Ezekiel Sims, saving the Spider Women or whatever. And I guess the Uncle Ben and Marie Parker, and she goes to the car and she's like, Uncle Ben, Marie Parker, get out of here. I gotta save the Spider Girls. And then she takes another car or whatever. Or no, she's still in the ambulance, which is fucking, I guess you could still drive it after all of that.
Yeah.
And she called. So
She's in a stolen ambulance.
a stolen amber lamps, and
Did she
she's
take off the
driving
license
away.
plate with the crowbar at least?
She should have.
No,
She should have
unfortunately.
put the
That
old
would've- she
license.
On the
She should have put the taxi license.
Oh,
license plate on the
there you go.
ambulance.
Throw them
That'll
off.
get 'em.
Yeah, that's clearly not her. That's not her. It's a taxi. Clearly, we're looking at a taxi here.
It's clearly a taxi, a large cabin-sized taxi.
You know, she's got all the girls with them. And okay. So there is a cool scene where Ezekiel is jumping from car to car trying to get to the ambulance, and you know, even if it doesn't make sense, Madame Webb is like, okay, put the defibrillating paddles on the roof of the car, and then the moment that he lands on the car, he'll get electrocuted or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty fun. I thought that was
I
fun.
like that.
It's
I
yeah.
like that. I thought it was cute.
It's like
Even
an
if it didn't make
80s.
sense. I'm like, you needed more of that, more creative use of.
Yes.
There
more
needed to be a
creative use
scene.
of the future telling.
Yeah, there should have been a scene where she also like saw it like hitting metal, or they're like, "Don't put this on metal," like when she's getting trained or something to like force. I don't know.
Yeah,
Chekhov's gun.
Both
I
of the
think that's
basically
I
both
think
of the
everyone
times.
knows that, though. You know.
Basically, both of the times where she solved it just by hitting him with a car, they could have replaced with a unique solution like
Yeah.
the defibrillator scene,
Yeah.
and it would have made all of these things feel a little bit more like,
That
oh,
would have
the
been
future
the
really matters. And
the
knowing
Final
future really
Destination thing,
matters.
where it's like you make it a unique situation to get out of that too. So yeah,
There could have been so many more unique situations, but you know, we actually end. You know, and the climax kind of ends up in a unique situation.
Yeah, true.
You know, so
You could say that.
they're in the ambulance, and Madame Webb decides to call out a. I'm just gonna say it's an APB. I don't know what that means, but she's like, I need
It's
all the.
not an APP.
Okay. She's like, I need all the ambulances and fucking helicopters and airplanes I could get over at the
Pepsi.
Pepsi Cola firework factory.
She calls him for a civilian evac at the
Pepsi Cola
docks.
factory.
At the docks.
Quote
At the
unquote.
Pepsi Cola firework factory on the docks.
Yeah,
Specifically.
yeah. That's the best place to put
And-
that stuff.
And so they go to the docks, you know, all of them go to the docks and they disperse all these flares from the amber lance. And Madame Webb's like, go ahead and put these in the firework crates. Without knowing how, well, I guess she will know when they'll activate, but
She'll know. I guess we have to
It's
assume she
just
knows when they're going to
perfect.
catch.
Yeah, just perfect like timing for every 50 million fireworks and Pepsi cans in there.
take it away. Someone take it away, please.
She literally,
Good.
I mean, she learns how to properly time her vision, like what happens in her visions with things happening in reality so fast.
Yeah.
Where she's immediately like, throw that in there, just spread them around, and by the time we walk over to there, they'll be catching, and like, everything will work, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And, like,
Well, she
yeah.
had like half a week to master her abilities. Because she went to Peru. She mastered her abilities.
How? She
But
just
also
got pushed
after-
in the
but
water?
then that whole time we never see her
Yeah.
use her
That's
abilities
the
other
thing,
than
yeah.
the pool scene.
Yeah,
Well,
she
you
just
know.
gets pushed into the water and forgives her mom.
You
And
just
that's
have to-
literally...
you just
Yeah.
have to imagine that it happened.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the
That's the
girl.
beauty
It's the
of-
girl version. It's that studio's girl version of the power up scene, where instead of doing a training montage, she has a memory where she forgives her mom and cries.
And then
That's
that's
the
all,
beauty.
all she needed.
That's the beauty
Yep,
of
she's good to go.
movies. You could just imagine the
Ooh,
good
yeah.
stuff in between.
You can imagine
Yeah.
the scenes they didn't shoot.
Yeah, it's, what is it, show,
Yeah,
don't
but it
tell?
makes the-
Also, just don't
It
show.
makes the movie so much better.
Yeah.
Don't show and maybe allude to.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, you know, the whole gang arrives at the top of the, you know, Pepsi Cola fireworks factory. And, you know, who's there? But, you know it. It's Ezekiel Sims. You love him.
Woo!
In his
He back.
stupid...
He back in action, of course.
I thought the Spider-Man costume looked cool at first, but then I realized it looked stupid. The eyes are too close together. They look like
I'm not gonna
shades.
lie. He was like walking intimidatingly towards them, and I noticed he was shorter than all of the girls, and I just giggled because I was just like,
Damn.
he's not
Our
intimidating.
Our short king
He's
dude?
not
What does that have to do
intimidating
with
enough
it?
to be
What's-
doing
who
the
cares
slow
about that?
walk
What
and
does that have to
approach.
do?
Come on, man.
Who cares about that?
Short
Yeah,
king,
it's like-
right?
Short people can walk slow.
I'm just saying.
I think short people can walk slow, and slow people can walk short, and I think that's nothing wrong with either of those things.
Well, that's your opinion, man.
Yeah.
And I just think visually, in terms of a movie, that wasn't the most flattering shot for him.
I'm really hoping for
So
Spider-Man
he's-
3 to have it as DLC like costume. I really want that suit, even though it's so stupid.
Yeah,
No,
true.
give me this.
All
Give
of
me
them,
just the
all of
clay and the red vine.
Oh, I want that
clay and
too.
the black vines.
I want to
from,
hold Madame
from
Web.
the Araña.
God,
Like, I want to hold
honestly.
Madame Web DLC.
Well, I'm sure Spider-Man 3 is gonna have a female character, and if they do,
True.
then yeah, I want Madame Web. I want all the movie ones,
Yeah.
But you know,
They start-
fucking yada yada yada, this and that. Fucking, they're all fighting and shit.
Yeah.
The
They're
Pepsi
leading
works
Ezekiel
fireworks
Sims through
factory.
the fireworks factory.
There's a
Gets
part
them to the roof.
there's a part where she keeps eyeing the S on the Pepsi because she knows it's gonna fall, and it's like Ezekiel can
Yeah.
probably see her looking at it.
Okay, so in the fight, and I guess they mentioned this in when she's in Peru, the leader of the fucking group is like, so if you master your abilities, great responsibilities will
Oh,
come.
yeah.
Welcome.
And
Yeah.
you
Forgot about
and
that,
you
damn.
can find yourself in multiple places at once. And that literally pays off. Well, it doesn't pay off. It's stupid as shit. But there's a point where Ezekiel like manages to get all of the 3 Spider Women like in danger, and they're all hanging, and you know, who knows if they could lift themselves up. And he's just like, choose Spider-Man. You know, it's the typical like make a choice.
And she
so
saves them all.
and so she's just like,
Web.
she's just like, I'll choose
She's
them
Doctor
all.
Strange.
Okay, I guess. And she just separates herself into 3 like
astral projections.
Yeah, that can also
that
like
can
grab her.
physically-
Physically,
Yeah, move her.
touch the real world.
Yeah.
Which implies that when she was hugging her mom, she was actually
doing it.
there hugging her mom.
Yeah.
Which
So
means
why
the
didn't the
doctor in that
doctor should have
moment
been like,
saw a
oh my
ghost. Yeah,
Who
or
is this
saw a
woman?
ghost
Oh, God.
appear and hug this woman.
oh, where'd she go? Yeah, so
She should
anyways, I
also
think
have-
I am gonna go to the Amazon.
Yeah.
No, there was a woman here. We have to dress this.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Mom,
so-
swing away.
and-
Swing away.
So he kites them all into these specific positions. She saves them all at once, and then in doing so, an explosion goes off, and it knocks all. Or no, he kicks her in the chest, and it sucks all of her projections back into herself, and she perfectly positions him so that he falls with the sign, and the rest of the sign crushes him, squishing him beneath a thing.
So yeah, she gets kicked and she's like crawling away. And I think earlier in the premonition, she had saw that the S is supposed to fall from the word Pepsi.
It's like he's walking over
Yeah.
her and like,
Yeah.
you thought you would
A
win,
very-
and fuck
Yeah.
A very big sponsor for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Very
Drink
big
your Pepsi.
sponsor. He's like walking over her and like gloating, like, "Oh, you thought that you would win."
And like she's like simultaneously keeps like just telegraphing that she's looking at this S, looking back at him,
She's
looking
like
at just
looking
it's
so hard
so
at this
bad.
S.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's like
dude,
talking at her, looking
I-
at her like
like I'd be like,
He's
"What are
like,
you?
okay.
What are you?
Why are you looking
at?
at that? Why are
May-
you looking at that S?
Maybe-
What's going on?
Maybe he's autistic because he didn't register her gaze, her social cues. So
Okay,
he doesn't
so
get
I
that
was-
social.
On
Yeah.
a different note,
Yeah.
me and Viv at separate times were like, Madame Webb's autistic.
I was
She's
gonna say,
fucking
Madame Web is
autistic.
autistic.
Like 100% she
Yeah.
is autistic. When that child
Mate,
hands
honestly-
her
What do I-
drawing and she's like, what do I do with this?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just
Stupid. I
wait
don't
to
like
throw it
this.
out till and then after walking away, she's like, it's like cardboard. I can't even fold it. I'm like, is she supposed to be autistic? Conan?
It's such a
'Cause
weird
that's what
texture
it
on my
reads
hands.
So maybe it's just these two autistic people fighting. Like,
Okay. I have to bring something up too.
yeah.
We are at the firework factory.
Yeah, go ahead. You could do.
I want to talk about these magical fireworks, okay? So, these are fireworks that, A of all, can blow a perfect person-sized oval hole
Oh,
in a
yeah.
brick wall,
Yeah.
but at the same time can be easily deflected by
like a sheet.
Madame Web holding a piece
Metal.
of metal
Yeah.
like a shield.
Yeah.
It
That's what I was-
broke
yeah.
a brick wall, but she's just like, bonk,
Ping, like
snot,
Captain America
and
over
it's
here.
fine.
I was fucking losing my shit. Like, what the fuck? It's so.
Like they truly were like, well, we'll just assume there's all different kinds of fireworks of shapes and sizes. So like whatever the right firework has to hit the right thing to make the right thing happen, it just does.
Yeah.
And like they just hand waved the whole thing.
She knew
The
that
whole time I was
firework
sitting
wasn't
there,
as it wasn't as strong. That's what it was.
Yeah,
That's why she
knows the
blocked
ones
it.
that are about to hit
Yeah.
her aren't the kinds that can break entire walls, or the
Yeah.
fact that the entire time during the fight, holes are being blown through the roof
True.
of the building by these fireworks going off that she is deflecting with a piece of
Metal. Yeah. It's so good. I love this movie. So good.
Oh my god.
Fireworks that destroy a brick wall, but when they hit her in the face underwater, don't blow her face
Oh,
up.
wait
but
a
just
minute.
blind
We'll get
her.
there though. Just-
Wait a
Sorry.
minute.
Here,
We'll
Gib-
get
Gibbledang,
there.
you
Sorry.
Gibbledang, you take over. So the S falls.
So the S.
falls.
Wait, no, is it the S or the P? Either way,
thought
it's
it
one
was
of the
the
letters.
S. It's S.
'Cause it's
one of the
Spider-Man.
fucking. It's one of the letters in the word
For
Spider-Man,
S for spider.
which is one of the
Ooh.
stupidest fucking stupidest. Like I know that's why they did it, because I
Yeah.
think even the S matches the Amazing Spider-Man like
Oh, like
letters.
logo. Nice.
It's just so fucking stupid. You see that? That S, it's S for Spider-Man.
For spider.
And it's red like him too. So okay, so she's projecting that she's looking at she's looking at this letter. And then when the sign eventually falls on him, it is pretty brutal. I did appreciate that, because when I remember
True,
looking at like
yeah.
Dala and I reacted, and we were like, "Oh shit,
Like,
that
oh,
was sick!"
yeah.
Because it looked like like he just got fucking crushed. That was sick.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
He definitely isn't returning for Rush Hour 3.
Oh no, no.
Never.
And in the process, Madame Web falls into the docks, and that's when she like
Firework.
Oh yeah.
with a stray firework, one of the strongest ever to hit the water and still be lit, manages to
One of
just
the
hit
ones she
her.
couldn't see the future for some reason.
Yeah, she couldn't dodge for this one. It hits her in the face and she goes blind. Classic Madame Web. And I guess she gets fucking immobilized as well. Handicapped.
Paraplegic.
They don't really
Disabled?
explain that. She's just kind of in a wheelchair. after
It
that.
hit the part of her head that's connected to the brain, that's connected to the feet
And the eyes.
and
Yeah.
eyes. Those two are
Yeah.
actually
It's
overlapped.
the
It's just
feet
her-
and eyes center of the
Yes.
brain.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So she can move her legs, she just can't, like, her feet are just the,
Yeah.
just the problem.
They can't support
Yeah.
Just like
She's like, "Oh,
calves
too
down.
wobbly."
Well, she can't support, so that's why she's like, "Oh, I gotta be in a wheelchair."
It's so stupid.
Perfect logic, really.
So,
Yeah.
fucking whatever. She heals.
Gibbledang takes a video and gets yelled at this part.
I take a video. I get yelled at. That dude fucking harasses me. He stalks me. He fucking sends me pictures.
I was like, he starts a fan chat with my mom.
He starts a fan chat with your mom. He sends me pictures of me grocery shopping, and he mails them to my home address.
He's like, "This is you."
You son of a
It's
bitch.
because she awakes in a hospital with a bandage over her eyes.
Yeah.
Implying that she now cannot see.
With her
Surrounded by
three
her
best
three
friends.
daughters.
With her three one-day daughters.
Yeah, 1-year-olds.
Exactly, yeah. They've known each other for a day, and then, okay, fuck it. They don't, okay, she's in the hospital. They've known each other for a day. She's surrounded by the three spider women. And then it flash forwards to the future. They all live together because I
Yeah.
guess they're all technically orphans. And she's just like, fine, I'm 30 and I'm going to raise a bunch of
can
like
all stay
17-year-olds.
In the giant, luxurious apartment she can afford with her ample, luxurious salary as a paralyzed
Paramedic.
ambulance driver.
I'm a
blind
paralyzed paramedic.
What is it? It's like not social. What is that?
Social Security.
Yeah, but like
So
the
she's
one
getting
for
Social
handicap.
Security.
Yeah.
Oh, like she goes through the foster system and
Disability.
adopts all 3 of them, so that
Oh,
like
true. Get
she
the
gets
cash from that.
the payments.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Also, she could like
Yeah.
just organize like bank heists if she wanted, because she can see the future and be like, and there's 3 Spider Women. Go do this, and this, and
True.
we got some money for our.
It's true.
Maybe their plans for that was that she like turns them all into the Spider Women so that she can use them for profit.
Ooh. Just like Sony.
Well, okay.
Twist.
So that's gonna lead me to my next point. So the movie basically ends with they all live together. They're all Spider Women. Madame Web has this weird astral projection form that helps them out. And then it ends on like a happy note of the future, whatever. Yeah, there's no post credits, nothing, whatever. That's it. That's the end. The movie fucking sucks. But basically, it ends with like you see Madame Web messing with like she's playing with the spider that Ezekiel had that gave him powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the spider. So she's the one who gave the Spider Women her powers, or their powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Which also means that like this whole loop, this time loop of like Ezekiel Sims being like, oh, in the future these 3 Spider Women are gonna kill me. It's all Madame Web's fault. And
Well,
sure,
it's all his fault.
Madam's,
Doesn't he have the
which,
spider?
yeah, which sure is. What happened?
Didn't he? Sorry, maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought he had the spider too, or no? Because I thought he had the
Well, yeah, he
spider,
has-
and then she got it through him, so he caused his own death.
Yeah, true.
Because if he never did shit, they would never got the spider. And yeah,
Which really just means that like it went from the women that Madame Web turns into Spider Women are the ones who kill Ezekiel Sims to Madame Web kills Ezekiel Sims with her own hands.
yeah.
True.
Still,
I
it's
guess,
just like the other thing.
in the beginning, it just
Yeah.
seems like they're just random murderers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, they're framed like. Well, I remember Gib, you mentioned I
just
think after the
killed this
movie
guy.
too. You mentioned like after we saw the movie, it's like why didn't he just move? Like Ezekiel could have just moved.
Yeah,
and it would
if
have
he
been
kept seeing the future and
Just
he knew
move.
exactly how he was gonna die, why would he just not ensure that that environment was what he lived
Was
in?
not where he was.
yeah.
Yeah.
or like just do anything else.
If he
It's
could
like,
perfectly recollect what their faces were fucking like, then maybe he
Yeah.
could like just be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah, maybe let me go
Yeah,
to California.
literally.
I don't think they're gonna find me over there.
So, God, it's so. There's a moment where I like had a little bit of headcanon where I was like, this would make sense if they added like a scene somehow where the reason that the Spider Women, like at the end, now that Madame Web can see the future, she knows that the reason the Spider Women, like in that reality, were killing Anthony Sims was because he had like just killed Madame Web.
Exactly.
And it's like
yeah, give
after
them
she had made
motivation
the spider.
to-
Yeah, so that they don't just seem like murderers. I had that idea
Yeah.
while I was in the theater where I was like, I feel like they were probably doing this in response to him killing her, and they could have just added that as a scene of the future, but they just didn't think that
They
far
just
ahead,
didn't. Yeah.
Ironically.
Hey man, like I
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of once you imagine those scenes, this movie gets a lot better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like don't show and
It's gonna-
imply is the theme of the movie.
All right, but hey, I will give it props. Tight hour and 40 minutes. Love that. Love to
Yeah.
get in and out. Tight
What?
hour
No,
and
it was
40
like
minutes.
almost 2 hours. It was like 150. That's why oh my god, Dala and I were
Really?
like,
Yeah,
Mine didn't start until like 9, and we
Yeah.
got out of that theater at like 10:45.
what?
Well, regardless, we were like, this movie's long as shit because we thought it was like an hour and a half. So that's why we went to go get burritos because we were like, I ain't gonna last. Like, I'm gonna be hungry.
Yeah, fuck that.
But
We're gonna
like,
be
luckily, it was entertaining as hell, and no one like was in the
I feel
theater.
like you guys only missed like the first 5 minutes, and just a lot of things happen in the first 5
Yeah,
minutes.
probably.
Like,
Probably, yeah. Nothing else happens.
yeah,
Madame
that's the end of
Web
the movie.
becomes Madame Web at the
Madame-
end of the movie.
Yeah, and this
Madam
isn't canon
Web.
with anything.
Nope, it's its own universe apparently that I was not aware of until today.
Which I
Well,
hope
because
gets,
like the Morbius movie, they removed all ties to Spider-Man.
yeah.
Because the Morbius movie was gonna have something related to Spider-Man, but they cut that shit out. And then this movie, I guess it was going to take place in 1993, and the plan was for it to be the Peter Parker that was born was to be Andrew Garfield. But then they changed it to 2003 to potentially line up with
Like the soundtrack or
Holland?
something? Oh, gotcha. I thought they were trying to fix this. Interesting.
But no. But no,
That would
I think even that has some
crazy.
discrepancies.
No, it still does from what I've heard. But it's like not as egregious as it would have been if it's the same soundtrack. Yeah, no, this movie, like, it's terrible in a good way. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, it was enjoyable to watch still.
Yeah.
I think it still had cute moments where I actually genuinely was like, that was funny. Like that was neat. Like it had moments, but just like it was so hindered by poor writing, poor directing.
Yeah.
Like
Poor everything.
it was so just absolutely handicapped and just could not like there was like there was no way it was going to be able to function with how much they butchered it, and in editing too.
Yeah.
And the post whoever did the post for this movie, they should be barred from Hollywood.
They should be
They
skinned.
I think it was Sydney Sweeney,
Skinned
actually, I
and hung
heard.
upside down. What?
Yeah, I
She
think
did it herself.
Yeah, she's not. That's why
No,
she's not an
they should-
editor, though.
They should be given skin.
No, I was gonna say, based on what you said, though, Nate, I agree. I think there's like some things here and there, like a lot of the fight scenes, or at least the premonition ones, are pretty fun and like cool for like a minute, and then it's like, oh, it's bad.
There was promise. There's
Yeah.
a lot of promise.
Yeah.
But I guess what would be your guys' ratings? How many Madame Webbs would you give this?
out of 5, 10.
Do we do
Up to
our?
you.
Oh wait,
can
okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do.
Okay, it looks
Three-
like Dala knows what they're
I
going
want
to
to. I know. I want to do 3 scared teenagers out of 3 scared teenagers that are kidnapped by.
Okay.
Dakota Johnson.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2.5 spiders out of 10 spiders.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's
Okay. I give it 5 taxis out of 5 taxis. I think
With
it's
how many
pretty
license
great.
plates?
damn.
How many-
No license
In
plates
terms-
on any of them.
Oh,
In terms-
okay, cool. Okay.
On the taxi scale, that makes perfect sense.
yeah. Oh yeah. You want 0 license plates, but as many taxis. Actually, as
As many
middle.
taxis as possible.
Yeah, as middle taxis.
and as
possible.
many odd scenes where the taxi driver leaves his taxi on unlocked and running while he is thanking a customer and they're like giving them a tip
Okay.
in front of his car.
Outside.
I would have loved if there's a scene.
Outside.
I would have loved in that scene if he's like, "Oh, thank God I got my crowbar in my back seat for just like walk off."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Madame Web. Quite an experience, you
Yep,
know.
Mademoiselle Webb.
Madame Web
A thin.
Webbathy.
Webithin, I guess. Ugh, I didn't want to say
Madam Weeb.
No,
was
Webbathy.
thinking- I was thinking Webannuals.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good. I'm gonna name
That's good.
firstborn son.
Webjamin.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how these things get made, you know, like what could possibly be going on right now in the offices of Sony?
All right, gentlemen. we must make the newest decisions about these comic book movies.
Yes, yes, I agree.
As we've seen through the
I agree.
last few years, these types of fiddle faddle have seemed to increase in popularity, and so I believe we need to brainstorm the newest way we can capture the hearts and minds of adolescent teens flipping through trivial pictures.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, I totally agree with you, you know, and I definitely think as a 45-year-old white man that I'm kind of still hip and I think I got it with the crowd, you know?
You are 20 years younger than me, so I trust you have the view of the youth in mind. So, where do we start?
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty confident if, to get my riz up and explain my stuff, if you don't mind.
I don't know what half those words meant. Please, continue.
So, what's hip and hop right now? Hip hop. And what's super cool with teenagers? Skateboarding.
Skateboards, yes.
Now, I'm thinking, us being Sony, owning all of the, most of the Spider-Man characters, or I think all of the Spider-Man characters, actually, unfortunately.
Cinematically.
Yes. Something I noticed with Marvel is 25% of all of their black characters are going to be cool skateboarding teens. And that's great. I love statistics. And so, I'm thinking we're going to make a Rocket Racer movie.
What is that?
Rocket Racer.
Yeah, could you elaborate?
Is this like that Speed Racer cartoon that came on the television when I was starting my business?
And excuse me, did you say rocket racist? Is that what I heard? I think I heard that.
But anyways, Rocket Racer, he's going to be a young skateboarding black teen. And, he's going to be, we got to make this movie that it's in touch. Definitely nothing that's out of touch. It's going to be set in the 70s, and he's going to be hip and smooth talking. And, there's going to be, he's going to have a really attractive white woman that's going to be with him. And guess who that's going to be?
I'm beginning to like this story.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Any ideas on any guesses on who the white woman is in this movie?
That's a good question. Perhaps it could be
Is she in danger at all?
Farrah Fawcett. I remember Farrah Fawcett.
Nope. It's a young Aunt May. So young Aunt May is going to be in high school, and she's going to be friends with the Rocket Racer. And, Rocket Racer is going to be in a cool street gang where, they all skateboard and hang out and do cool activities and listen to hip-hop or whatever.
That's what the teenagers are into. It makes sense.
Then there's going to be this cool, hip, and radical rival gang. And there is also going to be another skateboarding guy, but he's like, this skateboarding guy's too good against me, and I'm another skateboarding guy. And so he inevitably looks down at notes. There's just shit is smeared on a piece of paper. That's right. The rival gang member, in the end, he's going to become the big wheel because his wheel is going to be way bigger than the Rocket Racer. And the Rocket Racer...
I like this. All right.
So, so Rocket Racer is going to be like, this guy's the big wheel. He's got bigger wheels than I got. And so Rocket Racer is going to have to come up with like this custom skateboard that has rockets on it and shit. And then Big Wheel is going to be like, I got to make a bigger wheel. And eventually he ends up making a city-sized wheel that, Rocket Racer has to kind of stop him before the city gets torn apart. And then Aunt May, what does Aunt May do?
Does it matter?
As long as she's in a small skirt as a 16-year-old character, then I think we've done our job.
But wait, how is Spider-Man gonna be mentioned? Shit.
Yeah.
Who said
We
that?
should put the Spider-Man in. Perhaps they're spider wheels.
Ooh, maybe they crush a lot of. Maybe they crush a spider in the wheels.
Maybe they use
with the wheels.
The skateboard becomes a spider board.
Ooh, I like that. I was gonna say, what if the wheel is ran by spiders, like blended up?
That's right.
Perhaps
good idea.
Or they're running inside like a hamster in a ball. And they're inside the wheels and they power the skateboard.
Gary, this is why I love your ideas.
Yes, that's what the kids like these days.
Yes.
Spider-powered skateboards.
Oh, definitely.
Gary, that's why you're the hippest of us all. Now Gary,
Yeah.
My age does allow me a certain level of prescience.
Yeah, yeah.
now that was my pitch, Gary. What about yours? Let's hear you're hip and up to date and in touch. Go on.
Yeah, go
Well,
on.
I saw how the public reacted to that moment, the Marvel's Avengers. So
I've heard of it.
decided we need to make the Sony Revengers, but they're Spider-Vengers.
Ooh, I
The
love it.
Spider-Vengerverse. This way we can capitalize on every current trend, all culminating in one multiversal special that will save Madame Web from the failure that we
Our best
experienced
movie.
at the box office.
Yes, that's our best movie, and we need to save that.
I
really
put
skibbity.
everything into Madame Web to save it from its own actors and directors,
Yeah,
but yet it did terrible. So we must
but not for your fault.
They didn't get it.
They couldn't get it.
Which is why we will start our own crossover movie for the Sony Spider-Vengerverse. Beginning what people would expect, which is they expect if they were to reanimate all of our properties at once. Amazing Spider-Man 3, and we tease them with this by alluding to a Spider-Man movie when this Spider-Man movie starts. It's a new Spider-Man! Brand new!
I like it.
Our Spider-Vengerverse will have a new Spider-Man, just like the MCU Avengers.
Oh.
It's the only way through. So this new Spider-Man will be fighting who?
Who?
Spider-Man.
Oh,
Tom Hardy's Venom.
that's
So
good.
we bring in
That's
the
like
Venomverse.
another Spider-Man, kinda. I like it.
We're gonna bring it all into the same thing. It doesn't matter how much funding we need to license
yes.
these corroborations. Now, these two fighting will go public. They will cause a ruckus of these two spider-like beings destroying large areas of the city in their clash. And through the grapevine, through a newspaper, 4 hours later, the Aranya in Peru will learn of Spider-Man and Venom's clash.
Ooh, I like this, alright.
Spider people in the city of New York, startling
Absurd.
to the hidden people of the Aranya. So they will take off to contact the spider people in New York. As they make contact with Spider-Man, they will teach him about the web of life and destiny. That, I'm assuming that's what the glowy thing is in Madame Web when I googled it. Am I correct?
We could always make it mean that, yeah. We can change the
I don't
movies
know.
however we want.
I thought you ghost directed Madame Web.
Well, I didn't know what that was when I made that movie, so when we made the ghosty web with her powers, I didn't know there was a real thing.
And by ghost direct, you mean that means directing all the ghost scenes, right?
My great nephew informed me that there is a magical web already. So I think if we need to save face, we need to say that her water web spirit future powers that I geniusly invented.
And you know what they say? With great nephew comes great niece.
That's very true. With
Yes,
great
yes.
nephew comes great uncle
Hey.
responsibility.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do we think? We're gonna have them contact Spider-Man and put him in contact with, of course, Madame Web. And then we will have Spider-Man and Madame Web working together, as they did in that television show that my nephew loved so much.
Yes, yes.
Great nephew or regular nephew?
My regular nephew loved the television show. He enjoyed these fiddle-faddle for far too long in his life.
Fair.
So this is luckily through him I understand the minds of the youth.
That's beautiful. Oh, it's so good. Woo.
I
Yes,
also
yes.
understand the minds of the youth through sick apps and wicked apps like TikTok and WickWalk and Flip Flop.
That is a good point. What
Yeah.
would your input be? What do you all believe? I want to hear your
think it's-
honest opinions,
Honest
and don't let the fact that the last person who told me the opinion was fired dissuade you. I really want to hear what you think.
Yeah, I can go. I think it's $1 million idea. I think we should just get this thing greenlit right now and get it going.
Yeah, I think it's really going to resonate with, audiences all across the board. And, if there's one thing I think it could use, frankly, it would be like a big blue beam in the sky. I think there should be like world-ending stakes, kind of like we
Yeah.
have for all of our movies.
I think also...
Maybe when Spider-Man and Venom clash, their spider energy is so strong.
I love it, I love
We create a
So good.
beam, a pulse
a big
of,
beam.
of arachnophobia.
Ooh,
That makes
that works.
Into a
everyone
blue beam.
so terrified of spiders they can't leave their homes. And It's
Yeah.
going to take over the world if
Oh,
they don't control their own psychic powers.
That sounds like a good analog of the pandemic, too.
people will
And
love
everyone
that.
can wear an analog to
People would
masks.
love that.
Like they wear blindfolds
Webs.
to not see the visions that are caused by the psychic
they all have to-
arachnophobia.
They all have to wear blindfolds like Madame Webb to experience.
Yes, exactly.
To be tied into the web of life and destiny. That's
And
genius.
that's why she's so
Can-
important to Spider-Man's new story.
And then can we throw in Morbius at like an end credit scene?
No,
I
I was thinking we should do the first pre-credits scene.
Oh,
The
like
pre-film
before-
scene.
before the even
Before the
trailers.
film,
Before the trailers,
opening
yeah.
credits,
I see.
Morbius
I
is
like
set up for the end of the movie.
Yeah, it takes place
And
after.
he says, now that all of these things happened, I'm going to do this to Spider-Man. And then we watch those things happen.
Love it. That's such the best idea.
Hey, did we
Because
just get
future,
spoiled? Did this movie just
future,
spoil us?
no, future.
Well, then it turns out it's a Madame
Psychic
Web.
Madame Web.
Yeah, she's seeing
it's
the
a
future.
Madame Web vision.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
so
what it is.
Oh, I see. So at the end of this movie, Madame Web goes up to Spider-Man and Venom, who have decided to put their differences aside to fight Morbius, because Madame
Kiss
Webb's
under the
like, there's
moonlight.
a
there's
bigger
a
threat
bigger
that
bad.
we have. And then it shows Morbius howling at the moon.
Exactly.
Like a bat.
Like a lycanthrobat.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're on to something.
Yes.
I
Million
think we finally
dollars.
found the way to save the Sony Spider-Vengeverse.
I think with the ideas this good, we might even save the MCU, sir.
They will definitely benefit.
Yes, yes.
What about you, Gary, too?
me? Oh, you don't want to hear any ideas from little old me, I guess.
Oh,
Aw,
Gary,
come
too.
on, Gary,
We always
don't.
like to hear
Come
your
on.
input.
I
Do you
mean,
have your own idea.
all right, I'll share. I guess me being the youngest 20-year-old here, I did make Venom and, popularize that. I was thinking, maybe,
Genius.
thank you. We took Venom, this character, we separated him from Spider-Man and made amazing movies. So why don't we do the same
He
thing?
doesn't need it.
Yeah, the Spider-Man's holding him back. So why not just take
Exactly.
Green Goblin, remove the Spider-Man and Norman Osborn element? Perfect movie. Yeah. So as we all know,
It's like watching a master
Yes.
craftsman
So-
make a sculpture. when
Yeah,
we
I
talk
was-
about it.
I've just been something I'm cooking up. So we'll get Philip Urick, who is the good Green Goblin in the comics, and he will be, Ben Urick's son, like in the comics, kind of just exploring, and he's looking in, like he's looking inside like a business, like research center, and sneaks in because he's a reporter trying to find little like hidden secrets.
Trying to
And-
get the scoop.
Yes, yeah. And so he stumbles into the secret room where they're growing goblins. and accidentally gets
For growing them.
Yeah, this is where they make their goblins in this facility. We'll figure out the corporation name later. It's tangential. It doesn't matter. Then he gets the powers of a goblin, essentially, as we all know. He gets injected with the power of the serum.
Yes, the goblin powers.
Then he gets the
Craving fine jewels.
Oh yeah,
gold.
gold.
Constantly on the lookout for gold.
Yes, pumpkin bombs, clearly.
Escaping the punishment of orcs.
Yes, yeah.
Gliding.
And so, this Philip needs like a mentor. So he runs into Jason McIndale, who was the guy that made the goblin suits and the serum and all that. He was like got kicked out of the business, and he trains him to become the best goblin. And meanwhile, Philip becomes enthralled with Sarah Stacy, who is just she's unrelated to anyone important, I should say.
Just happens to have the last name Stacy.
Yeah, no, don't read Sins Past. Don't read it. You don't need to read it for this story. But she coincidentally is related. She's a twin of Gabriel Stacy, who we all know is the Grey Goblin in the comics. So he will be the villain because any good movie, the protagonist is a mirror, the antagonist is a mirror of the protagonist, as we all know. Venom fought
Venom. We're looking at some goblin on goblin action.
Oh yeah, baby, you already know. Yeah, so we got Venom versus
crime.
Yeah, gob stoppers, as we're gonna call this movie. The green gob stoppers. But yeah, so Gabriel Stacy, he's the Grey Goblin, and he's like the first successful goblin human hybrid that they grew in the lab, and he goes and he fights, and it's just your typical ending. But and there is gonna be, I forgot to say actually my favorite part. There's gonna be a scene where Gabriel says to someone, he's like, my creator was out in the woods studying goblins. And that's how he got inspired to make goblins, and
Perfect.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to greenlight this picture.
We're
going to use this. We're going to goblin it.
You're going to green goblin
What we're
it?
going to do is we're going to make the Spider-Vengeverse movie.
Oh.
And then afterwards, we will make the Gob on Gob movie to set up
Yes,
a good
thank
goblin.
you.
And then to make the combination of Spider-Man versus Goblin.
And then we
They
can
also must work together in the end, like Kong vs. Godzilla.
and then fight.
Or-
Wait. What about the Rocket Racer? Rocket Racist? I meant.
The three of them work together.
This is perfect.
Wait,
Madame
gob
Webb-
on gob crime.
Madame Webb kidnaps all three of these characters and takes them places and drops them off, and they team up.
Says, wait here.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
And they all have to team up against against Big Spider Goblin Wheel.
Okay, but
The
instead,
ultimate culmination of the villains.
My
instead
God,
of Madame
it's
Webb having
brilliant.
a car, she has like this big webmobile this big
It's
spider
shaped
mobile.
like an ambulance.
But no
it's
license
shaped-
plates.
The top half is an ambulance, and the bottom half are like spider legs.
Oh my
So she'll
God.
be like,
Perfect.
She'll walk up and like, all right, everybody get in. You get in.
Oh, and the ambulance is perfect because it looks like a small head and a large thorax.
Oh,
at the back.
perfect.
It does.
Yo, wait, and then she could have her head popping out. Like, it could be like a hole in the front, and she's like sitting there, like she's the head of the spider.
Oh, Gary too. Let's not
Gary
get
too.
overwhelmed.
Please, calm down.
I was just, once I'm worked up,
It's not in the budget.
Remember the budget.
Yeah,
yes,
true.
Remember the budget, please.
Remember how hard it was for us to get Ceiling Guy to walk on ceiling.
Yeah, true.
Let's not get carried away.
My apologies, Gary.
So we all agree we're gonna greenlight all of the movies.
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna turn it into our ultimate Spider-Vengeverse. And the Racer and Spider-Man, Madame Web, and Good Goblin are all gonna be fighting against their greatest evil.
I already locked in Bad Bunny to play Philip Urich, so we're good, baby.
Genius!
Yes.
But I've locked in Bad Bunny to play Rocket Racer.
Wait.
Wait, he will play both.
Oh.
In the acting
Perfect.
debut of a lifetime.
Oh my gosh, it's
where
brilliant.
he will be in heavy CGI and practical effects to play two characters in the same film.
Yes,
love it.
In like his third acting performance debut of a lifetime.
Yes.
No. We're gonna market this as his debut.
Yeah,
We're gonna ignore the other ones.
They don't count.
We need Sony to get the publicity here.
Good idea.
Woo! Yeah, good job.
Well,
I love it.
great meeting everyone. We've done a fantastic job, and I can't wait for the Spider-Vengeverse.
Yes. Is this the part where we take the coke?
Yes, cocaine.
Yes.
Anybody?
No, hit the coke.
Cocaine, anybody?
And let's all get our knives to take our blood oath to the Illuminati.
Of course. Yeah, sorry.
Cut your palm.
Ooh. I cut the top half of my hand off.
Which top?
Illuminati
Which half?
will be favoring you this month.
Just said the top half of.
What's the top? If you put your hand this way, it's the top. If you put your hand that way, it's the top.
Oh yes, was it all the fingers?
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Goodbye, Stumpy.
Goodbye.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall of a Sony Coke meeting.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know.
If only we knew.
Yeah.
If only we knew what they were up to.
But
Truly.
I guess for now we could just do some plugs.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I think
Do a
we
line
should
of
focus
plugs.
on something more present and do some
A
plugs,
line of
fella.
plugs.
Yeah, let's do a line of plugs. Well, I'm GymleaderNate. Oh, sorry, because mine's easy and everything. I'm GymleaderNate if anybody needs to find me.
Yeah.
I'll be Gibbledang forever and always. I'll be your forever and always Gibbledang at Gmail and fucking whatever you need me. Instagram.
You know, if you need someone
Fuck
to like
off.
officiate your wedding or anything, so you're like whatever you need. And I'm Gary too, and you can find me at Dala.art on Instagram, and you can also follow the No Dumb Idea Instagram. We got a Gmail, at No Dumb Idea at Gmail. So if you got your Madame Web averse movie, let us know.
Yes. What's
wanna
your
know.
Webiverse, Spider-Vengeverse theory?
Yeah, get that produced.
Oh my god, guys! I think someone's outside of my house. I think it's that guy. I think he's gonna
Oh,
kill
no.
me.
Is this silly guy? Wait, what?
No, that's the spoilers guy.
All right. So let's
He's on the
get ready
ceiling.
for our podcast. I think we're ready to start our review of Madame Web. Gibbledang, are you okay? You seem a little
Flustered.
startled.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Why are my hands so bloody?
Why is the top of your hands missing?
Like the top of your head is missing.
Yeah, what the
You
hell?
don't have any fingers.
Yeah.
uh,
Nah.
that's good.
No dumb idea. No dumb